Michael Shikha Niketan Higher Secondary Government-sponsored co-ed English medium school has taken an excellent initiative of teaching and make our students learn day-to-day lessons through audio and video in our YouTube channel. Teachers of all the subjects are working hard to enhance these online classes in the midst of this pandemic situation. It is a request to all the teachers, students and guardians to click the bell icon and subscribe our channel.
So today I am going to start with the chapter number 13 of your maths book, which consists of money and decimal part. So first I will introduce the concept of money and then straight away I will just go to the decimal part. So here money has been divided into two parts. The first is rupees and the next is paisa. So if I say you 4 rupees and 50 paisa, how will you write it in numerical form? You will write as 4.50. Here 4 is the rupees and 50, that is 50 is the paisa. Next, if I say you 7 rupees and 5 paisa, how will you write it in numerical form? You will write 7.05. See here 5 paisa is given, so you have to write it as 7.05. You just can't write it as 7.50. It will be wrong. Okay, so you have to write it in this way, 7.05. Before 5 you have to place 1 0. Next, I am going to show you some problem sums on money. So here one problem sum is given. I have rupees 4.50 paisa. My uncle gave me rupees 15.50 paisa. So how much money I have now? So the total money I was having rupees 4.50 and my uncle gave me rupees 15.50. So actually how much money I am having now? Simply I have to just add this two amount of money. So by adding this two amount of money I am getting rupees 20. I am getting rupees 20.00. So 00 is the paisa and 20 is the rupee. So I will not take this 00 part, I will just simply take this rupees 20. So total money I have now is rupees 20. By adding this two amount I am getting rupees 20. So the next problem, another problem I have shown over here. Sampa bought copies worth rupees 25.50 paisa, pens worth rupees 5.50 and books worth rupees 120.50 paisa from the shop. So how much money did Sampa spend? So first of all, Sampa bought copies worth rupees 25.50. Next, Sampa bought pens of rupees 5.50. And next is Sampa bought books for rupees 120.50. So how much money Sampa spent on the shop? The total amount of money spent by Sampa is rupees 151.50. This 151 is the rupees and 50 is the paisa part. So by adding all this three amount, I am just getting this total amount, which is our answer. I hope that this part is clear. Now I am just shifting to the next problem. You are going to a school by bus. You give the conductor rupees 20 and he gives you back rupees 15.50. How much money does the conductor then take? So you give the conductor an amount of rupees 20 and he returns you back an amount of rupees 15.50. So how much money did the conductor actually took from you? He actually took. So what will you do to find the answer? You just simply have to subtract this 15.50 from rupees 20. So by subtracting this 15.50 from rupees 20, we are getting 4.50, that is rupees 4.50 paisa as our answer. So actually the conductor took rupees 4.50 paisa from you. Next, another problem has been given. Jharna had rupees 100 with her. She bought bangles of rupees 20.50, a flute worth rupees 10 and laddus for rupees 6. So how much money did Jharna bring back? So what is the total amount spent by Jharna? Jharna was having an amount of rupees 100. So total amount spent by Jharna is, I am just adding all these three amounts which actually Jharna spent, that is 20.50, rupees 10 and rupees 6. Since in this case, in this two case, you can see that no paisa part is given. So I will just put one decimal and I will take two zeros over here so as to make our calculation easy. So by adding all these three amounts, I am getting rupees 36.50 as my answer. So actually Jharna spent rupees 36.50. And what was the total amount of money Jharna was having with her? Jharna was having an amount of rupees 100. So the money she brought back. Now how much money did she brought back? How will you get the answer? You just have to subtract this 36.50 from the actual money she was having, that is from rupees 100. So the answer we are getting as 63.50. So the money she brought back is rupees 63.50. I hope that these two problems are clear with you. So these are the problem sums related with the money part. Next I will show you how to convert these fractions of 10, 100 and thousands into decimal. So here one fraction is given 855 divided by 10. So this fraction you have to convert it into decimal. So for that what you have to do? Simply you have to just write this 855 like this, and then since 10 consists of only one zero, so you have to put this decimal point before one digit from the right hand side. Okay, so the answer is 85.5. Next is another fraction is given 855 divided by 100. So you have to convert this fraction into decimal. So you can see that 100 consists of two zeros. So you have to write again this 855 as usual. Since 100 consists of two zeros, so what you have to do? You have to put the decimal point before two digits from the right hand side. So the answer is 8.55. Next another fraction is given 855 divided by 1000. So again you have to write this 855 over here. Since 1000 consists of three zeros, so what you have to do? You have to just put the decimal point before three digits from the right hand side, and on the left hand side you have to just put 10, because on the left hand side of the decimal part you just can't leave it vacant. Next another fraction is given 56 by 10, 56 by 100 and 56 by 1000. Here you can see that the numerator part consists of only two digits. Now in this case what you have to do? Simply you have to just write this 56, and since 10 consists of only one zero, so you have to just put this decimal point before one digit from the left hand side, from the right hand side, sorry. Next is 56 by 100. Again you have to just write this 56 as usual. So now in this case what you have to do? You have to put this decimal point before two digits from the right hand side, because 100 consists of only two zeros, and left hand side of the decimal point you have to just put 10. Next is 56 by 1000. So similarly you have to just write this 56 over here, and since 1000 consists of three zeros, so in this case you have to just put the decimal point before three digits from the right hand side. So here you can see that 56 is consisting of only two digits. So here what you have to do? Here you have to just put 10, and after putting the 0, then you have to put this decimal point, and on the left hand side of the decimal point as usual you have to just place 10. So the answer is 0.056. So I think it is clear to you. And the next is, another portion is given, another fraction is given 2 by 10, 2 by 100 and 2 by 1000. Here you can see that the numerator part consists of only one number. So in this case what you have to do? While converting this fraction into decimal, what you have to do? Simply you just need to write this 2 over here, and since 10 consists of only 10, so what you have to do? 2 is only a single digit number, so you have to put this decimal point before 2, and you have to put a 0 on the left hand side. So 0.2 is our answer. You have to put this decimal point before one digit from the right hand side. Next fraction is 2 by 100. Here also you have to first you have to write this 2 over here. Next, 100 consists of two zeros. So 100 consists of two zeros. In this case, what you have to do? You just need to put a 0 over here, and then you have to put this decimal point, and on the left hand side of the decimal point you have to put again a 0. Since 100 consists of two zeros, so this decimal point will be before 2 digit from the right hand side. Next is 2 by 1000. Again here also you have to write 2 over here. Since 1000 consists of 3 zeros, so after this decimal point there should be 3 digit. So you have to place 2 zeros so as to make this 3 digit, and then you have to put this decimal point, and before this decimal point on the left hand side you have to put again a 0. Since 1000 consists of 3 zeros, so there should be 3 digit after this decimal point. That is, you have to put this decimal point before 3 digit from the right hand side. I hope this portion is clear to you. Next, I will show you how to convert rupees into paisa. So we all know this logic that 1 rupees is always equal to 100 paisa. So now you have to convert 36 paisa and 80 paisa into rupees. You have to follow this logic. You have to follow this rule while converting rupees into paisa, while converting paisa into rupees. Now 36 by 100. What you have to do? Simply you just have to divide this 36 by 100. So 36 by 100 is the fraction part, and you have to convert this 36 paisa into rupees. So what you have to do? You just need to write rupees 0.36, because 100 consists of 2 zeros. So the decimal point will be before 2 digit from the right hand side. So what will be our rupees part? It will be rupees 0.36. It is our answer. Next is you have to convert 80 paisa into rupees. So similarly you have to divide this 80 by 100. So while dividing this 80 by 100, we are getting as 0.80 as our answer. By following the similar method, since 100 consists of 2 zeros, so you have to place this decimal point before 2 digit from the right hand side. I think it's clear. Now here I have shown another 2 examples. You have to convert 720 paisa into rupees. For that, what you have to do? You have to you just need to divide this 720 by 100, because 1 rupee is equal to 100 paisa. So after dividing this 720 by 100, we are getting rupees 7.20 as our answer. That is 7 rupees 20 paisa as our answer. 100 consists of 2 zeros, so we are putting this decimal point before 2 digit from the right hand side, and we are getting 7 rupees 20 paisa as our answer. Next is we have to convert 850 paisa into rupees. For that, what you have to do? Again, you have to just divide this 850 by 100. Then what we are getting as our answer? We are getting 8.50 as our answer. Since 100 consists of 2 zeros, so we have to put this decimal point before 2 digit from the right hand side, and in this way we are getting 8 rupees and 50 paisa as our answer. I think it's clear that how to convert paisa into rupees. Next, I will show you some decimal portions. Here I have shown how to arrange the decimal numbers into ascending order. So here you can see that three numbers are given: 0.235, 0.583 and 0.156. So here one thing you need to note, that the numbers which are after this decimal point, we have to pronounce them individually. That is, how I am pronouncing? I am pronouncing them as 0.235. You just can't pronounce it as 235. You have to just pronounce it at 235. So 3 numbers are already given. So you can see that on the left hand side of the decimal point, here on this 3 part, 0 has been given. Here you can see on this 3 part we are having 0. So now what we have to consider? We have to consider the portion which is on the right hand side of this decimal point. And the first number which is on the right hand side of the decimal point, we can see 2 over here. And we can see the first number which is on the right hand side of the point, it is 5. And over here we can see it is 1. So among these 3 numbers, which one is the lowest? Obviously 1 is the lowest. Among these 2, 5 and 1, obviously 1 is the lowest number. So obviously 0.156 is the lowest among these three numbers. And which is the second lowest number? So here you can see we are having 2 after this decimal point, and here we are having 5 after this decimal point. So obviously 0.235 is the second lowest number, and the left out number, which is 0.583, is the higher number. So in this way I have arranged them in ascending order, that is from lowest to highest. Next, another number is another order is given: 6.006, 6.606 and 6.066. So you can see that on the left hand side of the decimal, three numbers are having 6. So now what will we consider? We will consider the number which is on the right hand side of the decimal point. So here you can see we are having 0 over here. Here we are having 6, and again we are having 0. So obviously this number is the higher number, this one is the larger number. So among these two numbers we have to consider which one is the lowest and which one is the second lowest. So here for that you have to consider the second number. So here the second number is 0 and here the second number is 6. So obviously this one is the lowest number, which I have written over here, and this one is the second lowest number, which I have written over here. And obviously this one is the larger number, which I have written over here. So in this way we are having our numbers in ascending order format. Now another order has been given to you: 0.03, 0.73, 0.30. So here you have to arrange it in ascending order. This one is very easy. You can see that we are having 0 over here, here we are having 3, and here we are having 7. So obviously this one is the lowest, this one is the second lowest, and this one is the larger number. So another way I have shown you how to make them in ascending order, or how to arrange them in ascending order. Here I have written 3 by 100 because after this decimal point two numbers are given. In these three cases you can see that after this decimal point two numbers are given. So I have, in these three cases I have to consider 100 in the denominator part. So here I have to write 3 by 100, and here we are getting as 30 by 100, and here we are getting 73 by 100. So obviously you can see that 3 by 100, here we are having 3 part out of 100 part, which is a very lowest part of the fraction. And here we are having 30 by 100, which is the second lowest part. And here we are having 73 by 100, which is the highest. So in this way we are getting our numbers into the ascending order format. I think this portion is clear to you. Now I will show you the expansion of the place values in the decimal numbers. So here one number is given 318.005. So I just have to expand this number, then I have to write this number in words. So for that what I have to do? So after this 3 you can see 2 digits are given. So I have placed 2 zeros after this 3, which is becoming 300. Now after this one digit has been given. So I have written 1 0 over here, which is becoming 10. Now after this 8, I can see there is one decimal point and no such digit is there. So simply I will just write this 8 as usual. And you can see that on the right hand side of the decimal part, there is given as 005. So what I will do? I will just write 5 by 1000 because I am having 3 digits on the right hand side of this decimal part. So here I will take 3 zeros, which is becoming as 1000. Now I have to just write this number in words. For how will I write? Here you can see the number has been given as 318.005. So simply I will just write in this way, 318.005. So I think this is clear to you. Next another number has been given, 5229.432. Here you can see that after 5 3 digit has been given. So here I have written 3 zeros, and after this first 2 there has been 2 digit has been given. So I will place 2 0 over here, and after this second 2 1 digit has been given. So I will just place only 1 0 over here, and after this 9 no such digit is there, only a point. So I will just put this 9 in this way only. and on the right hand side of the decimal part, here you can see 3 numbers has been given. So first number is 4. So I will just write this 4 over here. Then you can see that this is the first number. This is the first digit after this decimal point. So I will take only 10 for that. Since I am considering this one digit, so I will just take this 10. So it is coming as 10. Then I will take this 3. So you can see that after this decimal point, we are having these 2 numbers. So with 3, I will just, what I will do, I will just write this 100, because after this decimal point we are having 2 numbers, so I will consider this 20, which is becoming as 100. Next, I am considering this 2, and you can see on the right hand side of this decimal part we are having this 3 numbers while considering this 2. So simply what will I do? I will just divide it by 1000. Since on the right hand side of the decimal part where I am having 3 numbers, so here I will take 3 zeros, so it will become 1000. Now I will write this thing in words. So the number is 5229.432. So I have written in this way 5229.432. So here I have already told you that on the right hand side of the decimal part, you have to pronounce each and every number individually. You just can't pronounce it as 432. You just have to pronounce it as 432. I think it's clear. Next I will show you how to convert the decimal fraction into proper and improper fraction and how to convert it in mixed fraction. So here one decimal number has been given, 0.025. So here what I will do, I have written this 25 over here. Next you can see that after this decimal part, that is on the right hand side of the decimal part, 3 number has been given. So what I will do, I will take 100, I will take 3 zeros. Since here 3 number is given, so I will take 3 zeros. So it is becoming 1000. So you can see that in this case, in this fraction, the numerator is lower than the denominator. So it is becoming a proper fraction. So the proper fraction cannot be converted into mixed fraction. So here will be no such mixed fraction. Next, another part I have taken decimal fraction, which is 2.098. So what I will do, I will just write this 2098, and then here also you can see that after this decimal point 3 numbers has been given. So I will take 3 zeros over here, so it is becoming 1000. So I will divide this 2098 by 1000. So here you can see that the numerator is lower than the denominator, so hence it is becoming an improper fraction. So the improper fraction obviously can be converted into mixed fraction. So what will I do? I will just divide this 2098 by 1000. So the remainder is coming as 98, and simply I will just put this remainder in the numerator part and this 1000 in the denominator part, and in this way I am just getting this mixed fraction. So I think the concept is clear that how to convert the decimal fraction into proper and mixed fraction, and how to convert it into proper and mixed fraction, and how to convert it into mixed fraction. I think that this part is already clear to you. I will show you some addition and subtraction problems on decimal. So here first problem is given. My mother asked me to buy 2.575 kg of sugar, but later my father bought 3.150 kg of sugar too. So what is the total amount of sugar we have now? Now my mother asked me to buy 2.575 kg of sugar, and my father already bought 3.150 kg of sugar. So amount of sugar I bought is 2.575, and the amount of sugar my father bought is 3.150. So what is the total amount of sugar bought? Simply you have to just add this 2 quantity. By adding this 2 quantity, we are getting 5.725 as our answer. So 5.725 is our answer. Next, another problem has been given. Rokeya and Ipshita has gone to the market with 2 identical bags, that is the bags of that is the bags are of same sizes. Rokeya bought 10.925 kg rice, 0.775 kg of pulses and 1 kg of sugar, and Ipshita bought 8.775 kg rice, 1.125 kg pulses and 3 kg white flour. So whose bag is heavier and by how much? So first of all you have to calculate that what is the total weight of Rokeya's bag. So now first I have written that in Rokeya's bag there is 10.925 kg rice, 0.775 kg pulses and 1 kg of sugar. So what is the total weight of Rokeya's bag? The total weight of Rokeya's bag is coming as 12.700 kg, which we can write as 12.7 kg. Next, what is the total weight of Ipshita's bag? The amount will be white flour. Now what is the total weight of Ipshita's bag? In Ipshita's bag there is 8.773 kg of rice, 1.125 kg of pulses and 3 kg of white flour. So here it is 3 kg. So after this, on the right hand side of this decimal part we will write 3 zeros in order to make our calculation easier. So what is the total weight of the Rokeya's bag? So we have to just simply add this 3 amount. So by adding this 3 amount we are getting 12.898 kg as our answer. Now you can see that the total weight of Rokeya's bag was 12.7 kg and Ipshita's bag weighed 12.898 kg. So obviously Ipshita's bag is heavier. So how much is Ipshita's bag heavier than Rokeya's bag? What you have to do? You just need to subtract. So Ipshita's bag is heavier than Rokeya's bag by, I have subtracted this Rokeya's bag from Ipshita's bag. So Ipshita's bag was weighing 12.898 kg and Rokeya's bag was weighing 12.700 kg. So by subtracting we are getting 0.198 kg as our answer. So Ipshita's bag is heavier than Rokeya's bag by 0.198 kg. So I think that all these problems are clear to you. So in this way I am just ending chapter number 13. So just practice this chapter from your book. I hope the problems will be clear to you. Thank you.
Thanks for watching. Leave a like and comment. Subscribe. And do share the video among your friends.